Hi everyone, welcome back to our library. Today we will be showing you our first edition of The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. You can see this book is in excellent condition. It has a beautiful blue, vibrant color, gilded with gold. This is a very good get for us. Obviously, it's a very rare book to find in a first edition, but particularly in such good condition. Of course, Mark Twain needs no introduction, but he, like the characters that he wrote, was humorous and a character on his own. So I will give a nice intro to him. Mark Twain's real name was Samuel Clemens. He was praised as the greatest humorist the United States has produced, and William Faulkner called him the father of American literature. Of course, he's famous for the adventures of Tom Sawyer, the adventures of Huckleberry Finn, a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's court. But Mark Twain also wrote a lot of nonfiction books like Roughing It, about going west with his brother. He has books and essays that are extremely humorous. One of my favorite quotes from Mark Twain is, "Never argue with stupid people. They will drag you down to their level and then beat you with experience." Another funny one, which may or may not be attributed to him, but definitely shows the sentiment that Mark Twain feels about politicians, is, "We must change politicians like diapers, and for exactly the same reason." Also, a fantastic essay that Mark Twain wrote was Fenimore Cooper's Literary Offenses. Fenimore Cooper famously wrote Last of the Mohicans, The Deerslayer, The Pathfinder. Mark Twain was not a fan, to the point where he actually wrote a whole essay about Fenimore Cooper's literary offenses, one of which is use the right word, not its second cousin, as Fenimore Cooper's writing is very descriptive and uses a lot of language, while Mark Twain prefers it to be a bit more cohesive and succinct. Mark Twain was born in Missouri, in a port town on the Mississippi River that inspired the fictional town of St. Petersburg in both The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. He was born 2 weeks after Halley's Comet's closest approach in 1935. And actually, he predicted that he would die when Halley's Comet came around again, and he actually did die the day after it came around again. Upon hearing of Twain's death, William Howard Taft, the president, wrote, "Mark Twain gave pleasure, real intellectual enjoyment to millions, and his works will continue to give pleasure to millions yet to come. His humor was American, but he was nearly as much appreciated by Englishmen and people of other countries as by his own countrymen. He has made an enduring part of American literature." Of course, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, which every child was made to read in school, but it was actually one of those books that you enjoyed reading in school and wanted to get done with all your other homework so you can write it, is about Tom Sawyer, an orphan who lives with his Aunt Polly and his half-brother Sid. The book starts out very early on in the book, one of the most probably famous scenes in literature, when Tom Sawyer is made to paint a fence, but tricks some others to do it for him. Most recently, my husband tried to use that trick on me when he was painting a fence, and I told him, no, I have read Tom Sawyer, you will not get me with that. The story continues. Tom falls in love with a girl named Becky Thatcher. He then accompanies his friend Huckleberry Finn, a vagrant boy whom all the other boys admire, to a graveyard at midnight to perform a superstitious ritual designed to heal warts. At the graveyard, they witness a murder. They see that the murder is being pinned on kind of the town drunk. Tom and Huckleberry Finn swear a blood oath not to tell anyone about the murder, fearing Injun Joe, who is the murderer. But when Muff Potter is blamed for it in jail, assuming he did do the killing because of his drunkenness, Tom does confess that he saw the murder and it was Injun Joe. and Joe escapes out the window of the courthouse, and the kids live in fear of his retaliation. When looking for treasure, Tom and Huck overhear Injun Joe saying that he is going to break in and kill someone. And when they go to fetch help, Huck prevents the crime, but they request that their name not be made public again for fear of retaliation. Eventually, Tom and Becky get lost and wander into a cave for several days. They're facing starvation and dehydration. Tom's search for a way out grows more desperate. He encounters Injun Joe in the caves one day, but is not seen by his nemesis. Eventually, Tom finds a way out, and they are joyfully welcomed by their community. Becky's father, Judge Thatcher, has the cave sealed with an iron door. When Tom hears of the sealing 2 weeks later, he is horror-stricken, knowing that Injun Joe is still inside. He directs a posse to the cave, where they find Injun Joe's corpse just inside the sealed entrance, starved to death after having consumed raw bats and candle stubs as a last resort. The place of his death is used to collect water from dripping and becomes a local tourist attraction. A week later, having deduced from Injun Joe's presence at the cave that the villain must have hidden the stolen good inside, Tom takes Huck to the cave, and they find the box of gold, and the proceeds are invested for them. The widow Douglas adopts Huck, but he finds the restrictions of a civilized life painful, and he attempts to go back to his vagrant life. Tom convinces Huck to go back to the widow so that he could later be a robber with Tom, because you need to be in high society to be in a robber gang. Reluctantly, Huck agrees and goes back to the widow. Of course, there's many themes in this book. Boyhood, rebellion, and growing up is definitely one of them. I think even though Tom and Huck are definitely scoundrels and troublemakers, they are both still kind. There's also the hypocrisy of adult society constantly telling the boys what to do when the boys themselves do the right thing. But above all, this is an adventure story. You really love the characters. As a child and as an adult, this is a page turner. You want to know what happens in the cave. You want to hunt for treasure with Tom and Huck. This is really one of my favorite books from childhood, along with Huckleberry Finn. I think all children should read it. It's really tragic that some of Mark Twain's books are becoming banned for I don't think good reasons, because it really does transport you to that time with those characters. Thank you so much for watching with us and letting us show you another gem of our library. If you like us, please subscribe to our channel and like our video. Leave a comment. And soon we will hopefully be showing you some more Mark Twain editions. Thank you so much.